So, that was definitely a PlayStation showcase. Yeah, I'm disappointed to say the least. Yes, I will admit I got myself pretty hyped up, but at the same time, PlayStation has already set sort of their own level of expectations for these types of showcases, regardless of the fans, because the PlayStation showcases for the last few ones that they've done, they feel like the equivalent of the PlayStation E3 presentations or PSX. These are supposed to be the showcases where Sony shows the big heavy hitters like your God of Wars, your Spider-Mans, your Horizons, Last of Us. They missed the mark big time on this. And it wasn't all bad. It was still a good showcase, but it just wasn't a good PlayStation showcase. You know what? In fact, we're going to start with the good and then I'll come back to the bad, okay? So the good. The third-party offering was incredibly solid. Of course, we got the Metal Gear Solid remake, Metal Gear Delta, they're calling it, Snake Eater. This was rumored for a long time. We already knew it was coming, but to see it just teased, I got excited. I got a little bit of chills from that. And then we got Assassin's Creed Mirage. That looks solid. I am so happy that it's going back to classic AC1, AC2 gameplay. I have no doubt that that's going to be a good game. Alan Wake 2 looks incredibly solid. Dragon's Dogma 2. I didn't think we were going to see actual footage this soon. And then, of course, Final Fantasy 16. We didn't get demo. We didn't get Rebirth. But yeah, 16 looks really, really good. And then we have the first party offering. So, of course, we had Spider-Man, which, in my opinion, carried the show. Spider-Man 2 looks absolutely incredible. We got that almost 10-minute gameplay deep dive where they introduced Kraven, showed the symbiote suit with Peter. I like how they're differentiating Peter from Miles, where Miles is going to have the more traditional Spider-Man gameplay, it seems, and then Pete is going to have the symbiote gameplay. I think that's a really good way of justifying having both of them in this game. I mean, they were already fairly different enough, but this really makes the case for it. And then we got Helldivers 2, another game that I was really excited for. I really enjoyed the first one. This one seems to be a bit of a departure from the gameplay of Helldivers 1. I'll probably still enjoy it just because I like the atmosphere, I like the style, but it's going to take some getting used to. So that was cool to see, but not really one of those big heavy hitters. And we really didn't see any more big heavy hitters for PlayStation, their first party offerings. We got to see what Haven was working on, and they didn't really sell me on why Sony acquired Haven, because they showed their new game Fair Games, and it just looks like another heist game. It looked like that Hyenas game that Sega had a while back. I almost completely forgot about that game until I saw this. I thought this was that. So yeah, I'm not really too interested in that. I mean, besides the point of me not personally being interested in the game, they really didn't show anything that made the game seem like a standout first-party title. And then, of course, we got the reboot of Marathon with Bungie. Now, Bungie is owned by Sony, but that's, of course, going to be a multi-plat game. But still, Marathon, they showed it off. I like the vibe. I like the whole just atmosphere, the style, the music in the trailer. It was cool, but the trailer did not really tell me anything. I had to look up online what the game was, and I find out that it's an extraction-based shooter, and I'm like, okay, that's very different than the original Marathon, and it would have been nice to get some more information like that in the trailer itself. That's what a showcase is meant for. You're showing off the games. And then the final PlayStation Studio game was from Firewalk. We finally got to see what they're working on. Well, sort of. They're working on a game called Concord. We know nothing about what the game is going to be except it's in space. That's okay. And then, right, the most important PlayStation Studios announcement, the Gran Turismo movie trailer. Look, like I said before, this was a very good showcase, but it wasn't a good PlayStation showcase. I'm not mad about what they showed. I'm mad about what they didn't show. This was their opportunity to show their big games like The Last of Us multiplayer, whatever Blue Point's working on, maybe DLC for God of War or something, I don't know, but just anything, because Spider-Man 2 comes out in the fall, right? But after that, we really don't have any first-party PlayStation games slated after that. it's Spider-Man 2, and then who knows? We don't know when Concord's really coming out. We don't know when Fair Games, or I'm forgetting, Marathon is coming out. And see, here's my problem. If Sony would have shown something like Wolverine or The Last of Us, and they showed us kind of vague trailers, it would have been better because these are from established franchises. They took a gamble and they did this with series that people don't know, so we have nothing to latch onto. We have no reason to be attached to these games, and I think that's my biggest problem with them. It's like, I'm sure they're going to be fine games, but Sony should have shown more to get us excited for them, to make us want these games, because I saw Fair Games, I saw Marathon, Concord, and I'm like, I'm interested, but I just kept wanting more footage. I want to know more, and maybe Sony's going to show more at like Summer Games Fest or the Game Awards or another showcase later this year. But it all comes back to the question of, why not just show it now? This was supposed to be your big showcase. It's been 2 years since the last one. Why wouldn't you show all of your cards here? Why keep everything so close to your chest when people are hungry for news on PlayStation? And to make matters worse, you got Xbox tweeting out right after the showcase, oh, pretty much all those third-party titles that Sony showed in the showcase, yeah, they're coming to Xbox. Marathon is even coming to Xbox. I don't believe in like the whole console wars because I own a Switch. I play Game Pass on PC. I own a PS5. I just play where the games are. And right now, Sony needs to make the case for why you should keep playing on PlayStation 5, why you should come to our side. And right now, they only really have Spider-Man 2. They need to show more before people lose interest in the console. Like, I love Sony to death, but it's becoming harder and harder to support them. Anyways, I'm not really a big fan of making rant videos like this. They're kind of exhausting, so I'm gonna stop right there. Why don't you guys leave your own thoughts in the comments below on what you guys saw in the showcase or what you want to see from Sony in the future. And I will see you guys in the next video. Later.